Hey MGTOWs, this is Vention. Just wanted to thank all of the MGTOWs who have elected to follow me along on this journey. I started yapping about Bitcoins back when they were 600 or so, back in 2014. Then they dropped to like 230. And I'm hoping some of us have taken advantage of it that far back. But then as time went on, more people started piling in, and man, it's really gratifying to see so many of my MGTOW brothers who are sitting on a lot of gains with Bitcoin. I mean, it's just the perfect. It fits the MGTOW lifestyle perfectly because I mean that's one of the things that really attracted me to Bitcoins is that it's impossible for government to just reach out and seize your accumulated wealth the way they can with like a bank or a 401k or brokerage or whatever, or a house. The judge can just issue a court order, and then the whoever's holding your wealth hands it right over, and there isn't anything you can do about it. But with Bitcoins, you have your wealth secured in a way that they just can't touch it. The only thing they can touch is you, and even if you are sitting in a jail cell, if you have your Bitcoins secured properly, they can't take them. So you're sitting there, but you're still in charge. But if you can get away and leave the country or whatever, like Da Vinci J15 did, that was just a thing of beauty. It was a sad situation, but his wife decided to ass launch him out of his family, and then so he quietly gathered up a few things and got on a plane to Chile with his couple of $1 million worth of Bitcoins and started a new life in Chile, and there isn't anything the Canadian family court can do about it. So that is just amazing. It is over the last 50 years or so, so much of our financial sovereignty has just been taken from us, and we are just like, we're like subjects or something, and completely at the mercy of the family court system or anybody who wants to sue us or whatever, and they can just take our wealth. But now we have a form of wealth that isn't stored with a third party like a brokerage or a bank. So so basically it's just a huge deal. So when I'm hoping some of us got into this like during the lows of 2015 or even 2016, because if so, you're sitting on a lot of gains, and it's possible that some of us might have money on it, like a cell phone wallet, a lot of money, way more than should be there, or an exchange, because the exchange can get hacked and your phone can get hacked and any number of bad things can happen. So it's important to get those Bitcoins into a safe place, and a really safe place is paper wallets. So I'm going to quickly give a like a quick and dirty class on how to generate a paper wallet in a very secure way. Okay, the first thing, the actual class is starting now. The first thing you want to do if you're going to generate a paper wallet that you want to store a lot of money on is to is to make sure that you generate it with a clean operating system, something that doesn't have like worms or viruses that are sitting there watching your keystrokes or your monitor, because if so, as soon as you put money into those paper wallets, somebody will take it or sweep the wallets, and then you have nothing. So that's the thing about Bitcoins. You're much more free and they're much more safe from government. But if you lose them, there is nobody you can complain to except yourself. Nobody can reverse a transaction or anything like that. So basically, we have to take vastly more responsibility to care for our own wealth if it's in the form of Bitcoins. But man, if there's any married guys out there, I highly recommend putting some money into Bitcoins. One of my fellow mechanics at work is married, and generally I will not do this, but he gives me cash and I make purchases on Coinbase for him. Then I just dump the cash into my cash machine, and it's not a lot of money, but it could turn out to a lot eventually. But it could be like a real emergency fund for him if his wife decides to ass launch him from his family. And from what I see, that's a possibility. So anyway, yeah, if you made the mistake of getting married, you can then minimize it by gaining some financial sovereignty of your own that can't be seized by the government or the family court. That will make you more confident, and that will make you more attractive to your wife, so you'll be less likely to get a divorce in the first place. So yeah, I just wanted to gloat over that $4,300 Bitcoin price. It sure looks weird, and whenever I say or quote the price to people, sometimes I accidentally say 2,300, and then sometimes people freak. Okay, so first thing you want to do is you want to surf up a website called bitaddress.org, and I have it in my favorites here. Let's see. Okay, Bitcoin stuff. Where is it? There it is. Okay, this is what bitaddress.org looks like. And you will then be, but the thing to do, you don't want to just go straight to the website. You actually want to go to the version history. So, it's the GitHub. Look, oh, actually, no, it's you want to go to GitHub. Here we go, GitHub repository. Pardon the focus here. This thing is right now it's generating random numbers for every time you wiggle the mouse, so that it will it'll be able to make really serious security. Okay, so anyway, Bitcoin wallet, you have the public address, which is this thing right here. Anybody can send you money to that address, and please don't send any money to this address, because I'm not going to save this. If you do, it'll be lost forever, or whoever decides to use this, the private key, they would be able to pull any money out of it. So unless you want to just practice sending and receiving Bitcoins, you could pretty much ignore this page. Well, anyway, this is bitaddress.org, and you're going to actually want to go to the GitHub repository, which is this thing right here, and download the, hit this little clone or download button, and download the zip file. And let's see, download zip, see it right there? And then put it on a flash drive such as this one right here. Okay, then what you want to do is go to Ubuntu, and then basically go to their official site, and then download a version of Ubuntu for your computer. Now for me, I need a Windows 64-bit version, or a 64-bit version, and I've had this thing for several years. There are much later versions of Ubuntu out there, but this one will do just fine for me. So I'm going to boot off of this DVD, and it'll take a while. So I'm going to pause the video. Shut down, and then I'll boot up with the with Ubuntu. Okay, pausing. Okay, now we're in the booting screen, and if you're booting off of a DVD, it can take a while, so be patient. Okay, finally. Takes a while to boot. Okay, then you have the two choices. When the boot screen shows up, you can either install the Ubuntu on your hard drive, and if you like it, you can multi-boot with Ubuntu, or you can just hit try Ubuntu, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to run it straight off the CD, and you're also going to want to disconnect your Wi-Fi. Like so. And hit try. And then it'll wait a while longer and you can then boot. Oh, actually, here we go. Let me pause this. Alright, MGTOWs, I hope you're still with me. So then what you do, now that you've got your Ubuntu operating system booted on your PC, then you take your cheap-ass flash drive, plug that puppy in, and you'll see a new drive show up, and generally the window will open displaying the contents of the drive. And you will have pulled the bitaddress.org master folder out like so, and then double click on it. Come on, wake up. There we go. And then just double click on the bitaddress.org HTML. And you're using a very clean, totally clean operating system that's completely disconnected from the internet. Okay, now we have Firefox opening, and then we can use the mouse to roll it around and generate randomness for the web page. And this is all on board. There is nothing that it's surfing up. This is all on your PC, and it's all in Java. Okay, maximize. Okay, now here is your first Bitcoin wallet. Now for sharing with somebody, like a tip or something for a waitress or something, you can do it. You can print this, or you can go to this paper wallet option up here, which is usually what I do, and this works great for like waitresses or whatever. Then you can put bitcoins in here, and then fold it into like a credit card sized thing, and then they can use the private key eventually to pull those bitcoins off. And you can also store a copy, and just in case they forget it or lose it, then you can in several years, if they haven't cashed it in, you can leave a little warning in pen or something saying used by this date or something like that. So anyway, these are great for quick shares, you know, or to hold, like hand like a one-time Bitcoin thing. But if you want to store multiple amounts of Bitcoin, you want to do it in a more utilitarian way. And for that, I always select this hide art function right here, and then it gets rid of all the pictures and whatnot. And then you can set, I generally like to have like six addresses on each page. No, or actually no, like 18 addresses. Here. Oh, okay, hold on. Numbers lock. Okay, 18 addresses total, and then addresses per page 6. So, but if you start generating more addresses, I've found that the PDF screws up, and sometimes the text rolls over the QR code. But if I just do 18 addresses, 6 per page, then generate it, then this is what we've got right here. Now, you can generate all the Bitcoin addresses you want, and it's not going to hurt a thing, because there's more. This is not a limited supply. There's like more Bitcoin addresses available than there are atoms in the galaxy, or some crazy high number. It was like really bizarre. So you don't even have to worry about generating them. We will never, ever, ever run out of Bitcoin addresses. Okay, then what I like to do is I also like to hit the BIP38 encrypt option and then type in a password. Pardon, all the numbers are worn off my keyboard. This is what happens when you get old. Password. Dun, dun, dun. That's really secure. But in reality, whenever you want to do something like this, you want to have you want to absolutely make it so that you can't possibly forget that number or word or whatever. And you want it mixed like words with numbers and symbols as well, like the asterisk and percent and whatever, and you might want to like write half of the password down like on each 2 sheets of paper, and then store it in 2 different places, that way that way you can't lose it. I had a bad moment a few years ago when I thought I lost the passwords to my paper wallets, and I had a moment. I mean, I tried all of my usual passwords and they didn't work, and I was like, finally I figured it out what it was, but that was like a bad couple of days. So you want to make absolutely certain that you cannot forget this. So there are many other options: bulk wallets, brain wallets. Be very careful with the brain wallet, because if it's like a word that, or a phrase like something out of like literature, there's like people who constantly search addresses for possible brain wallets, and then they can harvest your Bitcoins. Like one guy created a Bitcoin address with a brain wallet and typed in "hello world" like we used to do on just to test connections, and within like an hour the Bitcoins had been taken out of the wallet. So there's people out there who are constantly searching commonly used phrases and whatnot, so you got to be very careful with brain wallets. But if you're in a situation where you might be losing your freedom or something, like going to jail or whatever, a brain wallet, just as long as it's something you can't forget and it has some symbols in it and something that like numbers and words and something that's really hard for a computer to guess, it's a good option. And then you can dump your wealth in, and then hopefully when you get out you can recreate it. Then you'll have something to restart your life with. Hopefully you don't ever find yourself in that position. So anyway, then you type in the password, then you hit generate, and then it recreates. Then it uses the password passphrase, and then it creates these paper wallets. Now don't use, or please don't tip me or anything with these, because I am throwing these paper wallets away. Okay, so we've got one page. Oh, I taped in 7 here for some reason. Okay. Okay, addresses to generate 18 and addresses per page 6. And then generate. There we go. Now it takes a while for all of these to fill in, and you don't want to print them until after they're all filled in. Okay, good. 3 times 6 is 18. Then when you hit print, the little print button here, you probably won't have a an actual printer set up, so you're going to want to print it to a file, and then you want to select your flash drive. Let's see, 2 GB volume, and then you probably want to name it something like it's 2017, so 17.08, because it's August.16. I think this is the 16th. 16 paper wallets. Okay, and then hit print. If you ever have any problems with your computers, where it's like locked up or something, or you can't, your Windows gets totally corrupted and you're totally screwed, if you have one of these boot disks for Ubuntu or some other operating system, you can plug that thing in and boot off of the disk and do a lot of the things you do with your computer anyway. And you can surf the internet or do online shopping for a new computer or whatever, and then you can be up and running. So it's not as good as having 2 computers, but having a backup operating system, very cool to have. So that is the 2 ways of making paper wallets, and you're going to want to make one that that has a better passphrase than that. And there we go, we are done. Bloop. Alright guys, and then of course you boot off of your normal operating system, and then plug your flash drive back in, and then print off the paper wallets, and you are golden. So that is how to create paper wallets. To reiterate, in order to create a paper wallet, you want to, if it's something that's going to be storing some money, you want to be able to boot off of a clean operating system, have bitaddress.org already on a flash drive, and you're going to want to boot the and then open up the bit address, and then generate your paper wallets, save them as PDF files onto the flash drive, reboot onto your normal operating system, and print those things out. And it's good to keep an electronic copy as well as a paper copy, because if that paper copy gets corrupted or gets lost in a flood or something, you're screwed. But it's always good to have those things, backed up multiple ways. Just be careful where you write down your password. So that's all I got for you guys. And don't get married.